Hi, welcome back to the south of France. Today, I'm in Monaco, but I'm not here for the yachts or the glamour or the billionaires. I'm here for the dogs. You see, I've come to meet a fantastic dog photographer by the name of Jilly Bennett. Don't go anywhere. Woof. So I think the gallery where Jilly's photographs are is here. L'Entrepôt, Espace Culturel. Let's go in and take a look. Oh, she's here.
Market behind you. Walk past a restaurant called
Well, Jilly, it's very nice to see you. We've just had a very expensive coffee, haven't we?
Well, you have.
Well, you paid.
Well, it was a pleasure.
How did the whole dog thing come about for you? Because it's been a big part of your life, hasn't it?
Oh, massive, yes. Let me think. So my mother hated dogs, hated them. And I managed to persuade her. I think when I was about 8, I got a dog. And then I came back from school one day. It was a year old and it had gone, which was pretty traumatic, I suppose, although I don't honestly remember. She said it had gone to the country. On reflection, it could have been run over, and she didn't tell me, which is the kinder way to look at it. Anyway, so the years go by, and I'm married to number 2, and he wanted to buy a dog for his godmother, who, do you really want to hear this story?
Yeah.
It goes on a bit.
It's good.
Okay, so his godfather had died, or the husband of the godmother, and he wanted to buy her a dog. And we found a little tiny poodle, half poodle, said it was a poodle. Took it all the way down to Kent to give her the poodle, and she said, oh, no, I couldn't possibly have a dog. I might slip on the icy roads. So suddenly we had a dog. And of course, I love this dog. All my maternal instincts came out, and that was lovely. And then I started getting interested in dogs, looking in pet shops. And then one day I walked past the pet shop, we had a drama school in Ealing at the time, and it was a pet shop in Ealing. And then I started seeing what I thought were these amazing women sitting in the front of sports cars, but they were Old English sheepdogs. And I fell in love, totally in love.
Right.
Had to have an Old English sheepdog. Looked in the standard every day, found one, got in the train all the way to Plasto and got this poor dog, which was a terrible specimen of an Old English sheepdog, but I didn't know that. And from then I started going to dog shows and getting interested. And to me, I remember going to Crufts and watching the Old English sheepdog who won the breed of all the dogs. And to me, it was just like theatre, just like pure theatre or a football match. It was just so exciting, and I thought, I want to do this. And so for several years, I kind of studied it, studied the kennels, bought a really good dog, and I did end up with the top kennel in England, sort of in the 80s, you know.
Right.
And then it went on, and I judged and bred a lot of champions, and then I went to Australia, took 6 dogs with me.
Wow.
And after all that, I came back. I didn't want to go to England, came here, and I've been here 30 years. And now my interest is totally rescue dogs. I've always had rescue dogs. And there's a lot of them in this part of the world, a lot of them everywhere in the world, you know, and I absolutely adore rescue dogs.
So how did you get into dog photography?
Okay, so I had moved to the south of France. I lived for a year in the Pyrenees, and then great friends who actually, the husband used to teach in the drama school. He lived in Monaco with a villa in Roquebrune, and he was looking for a guardian for the villa.
Right.
And he asked if I would come and do it. I hopped the train from the Pyrenees, came here, and at first I really wasn't sure. It was in a hameau. It was kind of, I was going to say posh, that's not quite the word, but it didn't have any atmosphere. But then he took me around, took me to Old Menton, took me up to the village of Roquebrune, and I thought, yeah, this is for me. So I lived there for 6 years. And during that time, I discovered several blogs, all run by one guy in Paris. Paris Daily Photo, Valbonne Daily Photo, blah, blah, blah. And there wasn't a Monte Carlo Daily Photo, and there wasn't a Menton Daily Photo. So I could do that,
right.
knowing zero about photography. So I'd go out, take a load of photographs, put one on a day, and I did that for 11 years. But it was good, it was popular. Yeah. Even though my walls were crooked and my horizons were crooked, and I did all sorts of things, you know. But I learned. Because I started looking at good photography, I started buying books on photography, and in 2014, I started doing some photography workshops.
Right.
And got passionate. And wanted to do either a book on Gorbio, my village. I had loads of photographs of Gorbio, all the traditions, everything. Or dogs, because during those years, I photographed the odd dog. And of course, it was natural for my eye to go to a dog. And I did a kind of a private, we didn't have Zoom in those days, but a private course, and tying up between the 2 books. And it seemed obvious to go towards dogs, mainly because it would probably sell better, you know?
Right.
Because dogs sell, you know? But actually, it's pretty much done, and the proposal is pretty much done. It's going to be called Dolce Vita Dogs. And mostly, I mean, these are the sort of pictures. Yeah. Not cute golden retrievers.
Yeah.
It's not that. It's trying to
No
tell...
Andrex puppies.
So, yeah, right. Exactly. Yeah, exactly. I tried to tell... It went from street photography, which I did, to street photography with a dog. So, you know, the old thing, catching the magic moment. Mm-hmm. So trying to show the emotion between a dog and its owner, trying to show... You know, we rescue a dog, but really, the dog rescues us. I mean, I think dogs give us so much more than we give them. So that's what I'm aiming for, you know, emotion.
why do you not do, say, posed photographs?
Yeah, it doesn't turn me on. You know, it's not true. It's not authentic. I try to take authentic photos.
Right,
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
So does that mean you take in hundreds of photos that are thrown away because...
I used to, but my eye has got better now.
Right.
And I think, well, that's just because that's a dog and a person, it's actually not very interesting.
Yeah, yeah.
So I walk around until I see something. Or stand in a place with perhaps an interesting background and wait for someone to walk into it. But usually, you know, it's luck as much as anything, but you've got to be there to find the luck, haven't you?
Yeah, yeah.
And some places are great. I mean, Naples is my favourite place in the whole world.
Right.
Because life just is lived in the streets.
Genoa, have you done Genoa?
Genoa, I've done Genoa, been
Yeah.
several times to Genoa. Genoa is sort of second best to Naples, really.
I only spent 3 days there, and I thought it was visually stunning.
I love Genoa, I agree.
Because it's got the old towns, but they're not, maybe they're not quite as prissy as some of the old towns down here, which are very nice and second-homey.
Yeah.
Genoa's got an edge, hasn't it?
Yeah. So many of them are over-restored here. Or
Yes. Yeah.
I mean, I suppose they have to be. But no, that's right. You find all this fabulous graffiti all over the place.
What age are you when you start taking photographs and start the blog?
The blog started in 2007. So that's when I started taking it seriously.
And how old were you then?
God, I can't remember. I'm 81 now.
Okay.
You work it out. Old ladies can't do maths. Whatever I was. Yeah.
But I mean,
but
it's,
I
you
was
know,
pretty
it's
ancient. I was pretty ancient.
to get your head around blogging and to get your head around the tech must have been a bit difficult.
Yeah, I love it all. I love it. I don't want to die because I'll miss new technology, you know. But I have to say, lately, although I can do some things, some of the complications of Instagram and putting, you know, I am capable of doing it, but it takes so long, you know. So I perhaps don't do as much as I should.
Right.
And marketing my photographs. I don't like marketing, really. Truth is, I don't like marketing. There we are.
That's why you have a manager.
Well, I don't, but yeah. Yeah.
What about Gorbio? Why Gorbio? Why did you end up living in Gorbio for so long?
As I said, I came and lived for 6 years with my friend in Roquebrune, and he was selling the house where I lived, where I had the guardians area. And we were great friends, it was fine. But he was selling because his wife was very sick. And I started looking around for a place to buy, and I really didn't think I'd find anywhere, you know, big enough for me to look after dogs, which I needed to do. But anyway, I did find this place just below the village. I was very lucky because it wasn't finished, so there's a lot to do to it. And instead of being an old house, which I've been looking at, which would have taken forever and a fortune to put right, it was fairly new, so I worked the other way, slowly over the years, giving it age, you know, and that's where I live. Well, you've been there.
Yeah. And in terms of Gorbio, the village, you photographed that a lot, haven't you?
A lot, yeah. I mean, I love the village and the atmosphere. So as I drive up, it's quite short on the donkey track, but if you drive up, it's 2.5 kilometres below the village. And as I see the village up there, you know, old medieval village, my spirits really soar because it's kind of like, almost like family, you know. We all all of us who live down here, most of us are sort of odds and sods, aren't we?
I guess,
you know, we don't necessarily have family connections anymore, so we make our own family.
Yeah.
And so that's nice. I mean, they just used to say, oh, there's Jilly. She's the one who takes all those. She's mad about taking photos, you know.
Yeah.
And then they used to look at me and laugh. And then slowly, I think people got to realise I really loved the village.
Yeah.
And now it's great.
And what? So you hope you're going to publish this book, Dolce Vita Dogs.
I hope so.
So you're looking for a publisher, or?
I will be once the proposal is done. I had the proposal done once, and honestly, I didn't like it. And everybody said, "Oh, send it off." So I was probably being too much of a perfectionist. But yeah.
Yeah. And beyond that, you just carry on photographing what you see.
Yes. I mean, there's definitely a book in what I've got over the years for dogs. And there's probably a book for Gorbio, actually. But in a way, I kind of just love good old street photography and watching kind of strange people. A bit like you, Tim.
You're saying I'm strange? No, I know what you mean.
No, your plays. Your plays
yeah.
are always about fascinating people.
Yeah.
And I think that's what catches the eye.
I think people are fascinating.
People are fascinating, yeah.
Endlessly, we're all
people
endlessly.
are fascinating. Life is fascinating.
Yeah.